Hi, I'm Stephanie Jaworski of joybaking.com. Today we're going to make strawberry creams, and this is what it looks like. This is a no-bake, two-layer fruit-based dessert. It's set with gelatin. The bottom layer is made with strawberries and the top with raspberries, and it is light and airy, and it is just full of flavor. So we're going to start with our bottom layer, the strawberries. So you will need 1 pound, which is 450 grams of strawberries. Now you can use fresh strawberries if you want. I always use frozen for a couple of reasons. One, you can get them all year round, so I can make the dessert whenever I want. And two, the quality is very consistent. So if you're using frozen like I am, you need to thaw them out. You can just put them in a bowl like I have and leave it on the counter. Or if you think about it beforehand, you could just cover and place them in the refrigerator overnight and they will thaw. So I'm using the food processor for this. You could use a blender, because we're just going to process everything together. Really easy to make. So you will need some sugar to sweeten your strawberries. I'm using a half a cup, 100 grams of granulated white sugar. Now, I mean, you could vary that, taste your strawberries, and then, you know, adjust. If you have really sweet berries, you could use a little less. Conversely, if they're a little tart, you could add a little more. I'm also using a quarter of a cup, which is 60 milliliters of cream. Now, to get a nice creamy taste to this, you could use like a heavy cream or a light cream, whatever you have in the house. Or if you don't want to, I mean, you don't absolutely have to use cream, you could use just milk. Depends how rich and creamy you want it. And then I'm going to add 3/4 of a cup, which is 160 milliliters of buttermilk. You know, buttermilk adds a really nice, buttermilk's really thick, so it makes the, this is really what you would call a Bavarian cream. Makes it really nice and thick. And then there's a little bit of tang to the buttermilk, which I think is nice with the strawberries. So you could, if you don't want to use buttermilk, you could just use milk. Or you could take 3/4 of a cup, which is 180 milliliters of just regular milk, and put in about 3/4 of a tablespoon of lemon juice. Stir that together, let it sit, you know, about 10 minutes at room temperature, and then you have sour milk, which is every bit as good as for this as buttermilk. So now all I'm going to do, that's it. I'm just going to process this until everything's really mixed together. Okay, I think that's good. So what we're doing is just pureeing those strawberries and getting everything all mixed together. Now at this point, what I often like to do is you can just taste it. Oh, it's just such a fresh strawberry taste. But if you taste that and kind of go, needs a little more sugar, just add a little more. And then blend it in again. So now, really, basically, that's our strawberry cream. But, as you can see, we are going to set it with gelatin. So this is kind of a two-step thing here, if you've ever made anything with gelatin. I'm going to put this in a pot, in a saucepan. But, you know what, just as a little side note, if you want to just drink this like a smoothie, it is really good just on its own. So if you don't want to set it with gelatin, you don't have to. So I'm just going to put that on my burner, plug that in, and then I'm going to start heating that up. I want to heat it up till it's like hot. I don't want it boiling, just till it's hot. And just keep your eye on it. And meanwhile, while I'm doing that, we need our gelatin. So what I have here is 1/4 of a cup, which is 60 milliliters of cold water. Now, then I'm going to set it with, then I need some gelatin. I'm using an unflavored gelatin. And you live in the States, normally it comes in a little box. There's 4 of these little envelopes. Each envelope is 1/4 ounce, which is just a scant tablespoon or 7 grams. And what you have to do, it's little tiny granules. You want to just kind of sprinkle this over the top evenly as you can. And what's going to happen is all those little granules are going to absorb that cold water. They're going to swell, and it's going to become all soft and spongy. And that's what you need to do. That will take between 5 and 10 minutes. And then what we have to do to activate that gelatin, because then it's all spongy and it's kind of gelatin-like, then we're going to have to dissolve it into our hot liquid. That's why we are heating this up. Now, if you have the sheet gelatin, which some people prefer, you will need about 3 sheets of that. And again, that is, you usually put it in cold water until it gets all nice and soft and spongy, and then kind of wring it out. And again, put it in your hot liquid. So I'm just going to let that sit, let this heat up, and when we come back, we'll mix them together. Okay, so as you can see, our gelatin's really swelled up, absorbed the water. It's kind of soft, spongy. And I believe, I'm going to take this off the heat. I'm just going to try a little. Yep, nice and hot. So now what we're going to do is just take our gelatin and put it into our hot liquid. And I'm just going to stir it until all that gelatin is dissolved. Now you want to make sure you really stir this well and get rid of, make sure all that gelatin is dissolved, because what you don't want is when it sets up to get little like beads of jelly. No. We just want the nice, creamy taste of strawberries set. We're going to pour this into our serving glasses. I'm just using just regular glasses. I mean, you could use ramekins, you could use little glass dessert cups, you could even use wine glasses. You can make, I would say, between 4 and 6 servings with this amount. If you want, I'm going to make large ones today, and if you want to do that, we're going to put about 3/4 cup, which is 180 milliliters, or I'm going to actually measure mine out, 180 grams in each cup. So now what I do is you want to make sure that gelatin is dissolved. So I just take a spoon and I can look. And yes, it is. So we are ready. I'm just going to make it a little easier so I hopefully don't slop. I'm going to put that in there. Now, you can put, measure out 3/4 cup, 180 milliliters, but you know what? If you have a scale, you know I love scales. I find it much easier if I just divide it this way. Oh, I think that was a strawberry. That's okay. Little surprise there. So there, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to divide it up. I'm going to let it cool down to about room temperature, and then you need to put them into the refrigerator. We want that bottom layer to set, all the way, and that takes, I would say, at least 6 hours. You want a real good set. You could do it, a lot of times what I do is do this part and let it sit overnight in the refrigerator, either way. And when we come back, we will start our raspberry jelly. So now we're going to start our raspberry jelly, but do not start your raspberry jelly until your strawberry creams are firm. And then what you will need is a saucepan of simmering water, and then put 12 ounces, which is 340 grams of raspberries in a heat-proof bowl. I like to use stainless steel. Again, for the same reasons as for the strawberries, I like to use frozen raspberries, and I'm going to sweeten that with a 1/2 cup, 100 grams of granulated white sugar. Again, after we make our jelly, you can taste it and adjust your sugar if need be. And then what I'm going to do is cover my bowl with a piece of aluminum foil and put it over my saucepan of simmering water. And why am I doing that? What I'm going to do is I want to first, because I'm using frozen raspberries, I want them to thaw out. And two, I want the raspberries to break down slowly over the water. So like I said, about a half hour. I want them to break down and they will release all their wonderful juices. Now you may say, why am I not just doing it like the strawberries and, you know, thawing them out and then just process them in a food processor or a blender? And the reason I don't want to do that is the raspberry jelly is this beautiful, shiny, translucent. And if I didn't do it this way, slowly, like let them release the juices, if I processed them, what I'm going to do is get a milky kind of jelly, which I don't want. I mean, it's going to taste the same, and you could do it that way, but I prefer that beautiful, shiny raspberry jelly. So I'm just going to leave this. Check it every once in a while, give it a good stir, and then when all of they're really, really soft and collapsed, they are done, and I will show you that. Okay, so raspberries are done. So we can see that they've softened, they've released a lot of their juices. So what I've done is I just have a bowl with a strainer, and I'm going to pour that, because now what we want to do is separate the juice from the seeds, because we don't want the seeds in our jelly. So I found that took about a half hour. And then what I'm going to do, as you can see already, a lot is just draining right through. But you may have to take, now you want to do this gently because we want to have those juices nice and clear. And I just, you know, just kind of press it gently. So that really what you want at the end is just the seeds left in the top of your strainer. So that's going to take a few minutes to do. So now I got rid of, or I pressed all the juice out of the raspberries and I put it in a measuring cup. So what we want is about 1 cup, 240 milliliters of raspberry, I guess you say raspberry juice. I'm a little shy of that. So, I mean, it depends on your berries, how much juice you get. Variable. I'm just going to add a little bit of water. And what it does too, you can add you can go up to like a cup and a quarter, which would be about, you know, from 240 to 300 milliliters. And then just stir that. And I would taste it. That way you can adjust the sugar. I think it's just nice for me. And also, if you find it like really too sharp of a flavor, like too intense of raspberry, you can dilute it even more with a little more water. That's perfectly fine. So again, we have our raspberry juice and we need to set that with gelatin. So again, I'm going to put this in a saucepan. I'm going to heat it until it's just hot. And at the same time as I'm doing that, I am going to, I got a small bowl here. I would say you will, you know, we don't have as much liquid here, so we don't need as much gelatin. So I'm going to put maybe about, say, 3 tablespoons of you want cold water. And then I'm using 1 teaspoon, 3 grams of, again, the unflavored powdered gelatin. We're going to do it the same way as the strawberry cream. Sprinkle it over the top. I'm going to let it sit again until it absorbs the liquid and gets all soft and spongy. Heat that up, and when we come back, we will mix them together. Okay, so take that off the heat. It's nice and hot. And then, again, same thing. We have our gelatin, spongy and soft. Put it in there, stir it till it dissolves. And now, I have my strawberry creams in the refrigerator. They're firm, but this is really hot. So we don't want to pour this hot raspberry jelly on top of the strawberry cream, or what will happen is the raspberry will just kind of soak into the strawberry cream jelly. and we don't want that. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to let this cool down to room temperature, and then when we come back, we will pour it on top of our strawberry creams. So now our raspberry juice has cooled down, raspberry jelly, so we're just going to divide it up. I have about a cup here, so that would be 1/4 of a cup, 60 milliliters, 60 grams in each one. I'm just eyeballing here. And then what we're going to do is you need to put these back into the refrigerator so that raspberry jelly can firm up. That will take maybe at least 2 hours, probably 4. You could leave them overnight to set because it takes almost 24 hours for them to set completely. And I made these yesterday, so this is what it looks like. Strawberry cream on the bottom, and I don't know whether you can see it. Beautiful, shiny raspberry jelly. Of course, you could serve this with a dollop of whipped cream, or you could put some fresh raspberries and strawberries on top, or a little yogurt, creme fraiche. So much flavor. I mean, you got that raspberry cream, it's creamy, it's nice, or the strawberry cream, you know, it's got that nice strawberry flavor, creamy strawberry flavor. And then you have this jolt with that raspberry jelly. Tart, tangy, a little sweet, excellent. And they're healthy. So great thing to make for the kids. So try them. And until next time, I'm Stephanie Jaworski of joybaking.com.